Hi, it's Jeff Allen, and this is the introduction to my video book. I decided to do a video book on this. Uh, I'm trying to decide on the name of this. The name's gonna change, so let's kind of deal with this. This is a video book that's gonna kind of change as we go. So we need to get no, we just this is agile and iterative, and that's how we're gonna do it. So the 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 current name of the book, and it might change. It should be like How to Work with Americans, but I decided to call it Understanding American Americans. And just a quick kind of history of this. I have actually written articles. I mean, I'm not going to go through my whole history and background here because you got to go on LinkedIn and see my profile and kind of, yeah, you'll understand. But I'll just say that in 1993, I did a presentation in Lyon, France, through the consulate of the United States consulate there, on for it was an afternoon session on it was called The Values That Americans Live By. So it was presented to a bunch of French people and Americans that were, knew the French consulate there and all that. 1993, that's 30 years ago next year. So the values Americans live by. Then, and I was a language professor and language teacher, not just university, not just kids, not just high school. I taught also business people in France, business people. So one-on-one sessions in group, but a lot of one-on-one sessions. So a lot of specific, trades and doctors and pharmacists and secretaries of multinationals and that kind of stuff. So I did a lot of intercultural stuff because a lot of things that deal with that is intercultural conflicts and how to deal with that. It's not just language. So 1993, I did that presentation. I did my master's and doctoral degrees in Lyon, France, on the sociolinguistics of a master's degree in sociolinguistics for the Creole language in the Caribbean islands, and then my doctoral research work was on the phonetic analysis of adapted loan words from English into a French Creole on that same island. Okay, so but I'm a but I funded all that doctoral work, master doctoral work, by being a language teacher, both at university and in these language schools business language schools where you teach these professionals. So I had a lot of experience, a lot of practical experience while I'm doing my studies for my graduate studies. Okay, and so the next year, I worked in a business language school in Paris because I moved to Paris to be close to my fiancée so we could kind of get married and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I went through that. And I had worked in a bit of a really, really, good executive language services in Paris, which had a good clientele. I had a lot more clients I was dealing with and intense stuff. And so I learned a lot more on all kinds of things. We got to talk more, and I got to actually work with Brits and Americans together working in the same office or the same, getting together in the same coffee corner and talking about their differences and stuff. And that was back in 1990s. I mean, I came to France in 1989, so I've been here for like 30 plus years. So I've kind of dealt with all kinds of fun, intercultural things, okay? Studied here, worked here, lived here, married here, had kids here. So let's say that, So I've gone through the whole culturalization process and have worked in many different companies, not one, a lot of different companies, both in the U.S. and in the States. I've worked with people all over the world and I'm not going to go through my resume here, so the CV, because it would take, it would take the whole time of the video to just say my CV. Just look at that. Just go up online, you'll see that. So that allows me to kind of talk about these things, okay, that experience. So the experiences are reflecting that. So understanding American Americans, where it came from is that back then in that time. Then and then I was worked on that there, and then I in fast forward, and then in 2004, I wrote an article called "Working with the French" in a big kind of magazine, international magazine, Working with the French. I had lived in France for 15 years. That was 15 years ago. Working the French on a Getting Started in Europe magazine. So getting the special issue on Getting Started in Europe magazine, and multilingual magazine, on Getting Started in Europe, how to do it, okay? And on the French, okay? So I've done that. And I got a lot of good reviews from some experts. Okay, let's say it that way. And no one ever said you're wrong. Okay, they said, "Oh, you forgot this." I said, "No, that was in the draft. I had to cut down some stuff. Okay, it's four pages is too much." Okay, so there's stuff in the draft version too. I have been thinking about for years, and it's actually my list of publications. There are a whole number of extra ones that I've been working on. How to work with the Indians and the Indian subcontinent. How to work with the Germans. How to work with the Chinese. Okay, because I've worked with lots of them in all kinds of jobs. And you've got to go right through my CV and my LinkedIn profile to see that. Okay, so that's very obvious. But fast forward that to 2012. Okay, 2012, 2011. I need to look at my notes. It's an archive disk, right? So that I need to go look on to find the exact date in which I started taking notes on this, right? But in about 2012, I decided to write this book about understanding America and Americans, kind of like the sequel or the kind of the equivalent of my working with the French, but a longer version because it needed more than 4 pages. Okay, it needed more 4 pages, and I knew that. I was dealing with a lot of other things, but I was actually made two other video books on another thing I was doing at the time, which seemed more important at the time than this, which was really important. This topic was actually really important. I felt that, but the other thing was more important at that point in time for several reasons. So those video books exist too. Okay. In the playlist on my YouTube channel. I'm not going to do any marketing for that. Okay, here that's my job. I just saying why I didn't do it at that point in time because there were other hot things on the plate that were more important to do in addition to my regular job. Okay, so this is not my job. This is my addition to my regular job. Right. So this is fun time. But this is what I do. I'm going to try to hide. I'm in a restaurant here. So I actually did go to conferences for several years between that period of 2012 and 2014-ish. Not too many conferences, but enough of them. And talking with people in Paris, meeting with them, and other places where I could be, on vacation. People that had lived in America, that had studied in America. I'm going to say the United States, okay, not to get anything. So, studied in the United States of America, had worked in the United States of America, who were foreigners, who were Americans that had lived overseas with enough experience to be able to talk about it, okay? Because doing a little 2-year stint kind of thing with just kind of it was a vacation time, that isn't enough credibility for me to actually be able to talk about one's own culture. With respect to another culture, if you didn't get integrated into the other culture. Okay, so this is a really important thing. So sorry about the background noise. The kids are playing here in a restaurant, and I'm doing this here, and that's where I'm doing it. So we're going to accept this. Okay, this is my conditions. And so I decided, so I was actually testing at these different conferences, not the conferences, but actually during the coffee corners and during the the dinners and the lunches and the breaks with people that I knew from the field, my language industry, one of my fields, which is the language industry, and I'm not going to go into that, but look at my LinkedIn profile for that part. But I was testing out some of the ideas that I had already put into an Excel sheet. I had kind of mapped all this out in a format that made all sense. And I actually with colleagues who had lived in America, the United States, and friends friends that have lived there, and and actually having been married to a French person, and she had lived in the States for 4 years as well, and to be able to talk with these ideas with her too, or at least from our discussions, be able to kind of take these ideas and convert them into what has become this book. Okay, so this is not just some kind of off the cuff, I decided to write a book thing. Okay, this is something that has been maturing for 30 years, over 30 years, with a lot of history and doing some thing. And I haven't presented any of these conferences because I don't have budget to go get conferences to talk about things that aren't projects in our company. So that's the kind of thing. So I So I can't talk about these soft skills things because I have budget. So what? So I do this on YouTube. Okay, so we'll do that way. Okay, that's just the way it is. And then, so I need to explain why I haven't done this book until now, because why you've been waiting for so long. Because there are other things in life, okay? So that's the way it is. And other things that are more important at certain points in time. Then I had actually been I had worked in the outline, had worked on things. I did these 2 other books and done them in video format. I thought, I was thinking maybe I should do this in video format because that'd be faster. Because doing these videos is a lot faster than actually writing the book, right? It's way faster. And you can use the subtitles to actually get the text afterwards, so it's no big deal. Automatic subtitles, that's great. I work in that field too. Actually, speech to text, so I know how to do this. But I'd been kind of working on the outline of it and had been drafting it really, and I commuted 4 hours per day in the train and subway in Paris for years, and so I was kind of doing this in the train, thinking about this, writing down the outline that I wanted to do in this book, and I actually had a very detailed outline with main points, subpoints, sub-subpoints, sub-subpoints. That's how I do these things. I just outline the whole chapter, division, chapter, section, down to the section first. And then I have just anecdotes in there. Just remember talking points of anecdotes. And then I talk about it. And then I just write about it. Well, here I'm going to talk about it. But I had actually been this Excel sheet that I'm going to explain. And I'm going to explain the different categories and things. Not in this video. This is the introduction. I'm just whetting your appetite to what this is going to be as I do these videos, okay? And I decided I had wanted to actually do this and get this all done before I write the book, okay? And because I want to sell this book, right? Well, I know how hard it is to get books through publishers. I know the long process. I've written chapters of books now, and some of these things take years, and I'm thinking, I don't want to do this. I want to do this faster, right? But other books were more important. The other video books took precedence over a certain part of time at certain moments because of that, okay? That was the way it is. Because other books were more important because of a certain urgent need, right? And of course, this is on top of my regular work, right? Regular job and family and all the other things that go with that, right? And then in 2015, someone appears on the scene. Donald Trump appears on the scene. And I'm sitting there thinking, why am I writing the book? Because we don't need to reveal anything more because this guy's on the scene. I mean, he's on frontline stage right there. He is actually doing everything I want to talk about. That's why I stopped writing the book, thinking I don't need to do this anymore. And you know what? I should have done it because I've been spending from 2016 when he became president to 2020. I spent the whole 4 years actually explaining why he was or the way he is or the way he thinks. Although I'm not saying I agree with him or do not agree with him. I'm just explaining how Americans are, right? Understanding Americans. So I spent the actual 4 years explaining what I was going to write in the book, which gave me more test ground to figure out if this is right or not during the coffee corners at work and stuff. Then COVID hits. Okay, so that changed kind of the world too, right? And I put this on the back burner. I just thought it was not important. I had other things to do. My job had more important, fish to fry. And then Putin did his little thing here in, end of February, beginning March 2022. So this is a few years later, right? And I thought, now I got to say something. Now I got to actually do this because this does impact. I've been wanting to do this for my kids too, because my kids they're not really American. They've grown up in France. They understand American culture through me. They understand it through all screen things has to be done by, I think it's on the screen you have to watch in English, which tends to be American. Just that it tends to be because Americans are good, kind of good at the marketing part of this. But I'm not saying they're best. I'm just saying that's the results. And so my kids have learned a lot about culture, of American culture, U.S. American culture through online things, not reading books. And listen to me and let me talk about the culture and how we do things and the education systems. I compare the education system because I've studied in both and all that, and the value systems and all that stuff. And I've been, kind of talking to my kids, and my kids are teenagers now, so they're old enough to kind of, intelligently be able to give rebuttals to my stuff, and actually say, yeah, this is right, or this is completely wrong, Dad. You're off the, you're a nut crack. So they'll tell me what I'm off on, and they'll tell me what I'm not off on. Okay. And I've been testing this for years, and I've been validating the ideas for years, for a long time. And so Putin does his thing here. And yeah, I'm pronouncing it Putin because that's how the Russians pronounce it, because I have Russian colleagues. Okay. So yes, I'm going to pronounce it Putin. And I've worked in actually in intercultural things too over the years too. So I don't have an outline here, so I don't have outline for my introduction. This is just I decided we're going to find it time to publish this thing, okay? So I'm kind of giving the background of why I've done it and now. And I had wanted to, lots of intercultural stuff. So I've just thought this is the timing now because of this Russian Ukraine kind of situation, because we're seeing some similar things, and I'm not saying they're exact. I'm just saying that this has brought up the need to understand, and I'll come out with my working with the Germans and my working with the Russians. I'm going to come out with other versions here of this, because I've actually been making videos recently about Ukraine and Russia, and I've been talking about that, and I'm going to come out with versions of working with the Lesser Antilles and the Lesser Antilles folks in the Lesser Antilles. I mean, I'm going to come up with different versions of this thing. This one will be probably the more complete one, because it's really difficult for people from other cultures to understand Americans, understand how they function and how they think, because we're just a different beast. We are a different beast because of our socio-historical makeup of the melting pot, which everybody thinks is great, but actually it has some other negative downsides that create the situation where we are as we are today. And I'm gonna let you get into the chapters to kind of figure out what are these different ingredients to the melting pot. Okay, that's what I call it. Or maybe I should call this video called "Understanding the American Melting Pot," right? So whatever. I'm having fun with this because I think this is going to be a fun thing. So I'm not going to I'm sorry, I'm trying to hide the people in the background because I don't want you to be able to see these people because I'm on GDPR and stuff. So I'm trying to hide these people so I can't show faces. I got like that. So I got to do this here kind of thing. Sorry about that, but I'm in a restaurant and I'm being transparent. We're going to get in the chapter of transparency here. So. With taking all that kind of stuff. Hey, look, I gotta have this thing. Hey, at least her head's back there. Okay, great. So it's time to do the book. It's time to put on YouTube, and I'm gonna do this in a slow, agile kind of way. I'm not gonna do this waterfall where you do the whole thing, write all the outline, do all the thing, and then you make the book. Okay, I'm gonna do this one at a time. I'm going to do it as I have time to do it. I'm going to do it in the restaurants where I've got the great lighting here and the background that's better than at home. Okay, so I got all the equipment. That's not the problem. But I don't have video editing software. I'm going to warn you. My brand new computer bought through work is not compatible with the video editing software that is also a license through work because of the new processor that's in the new laptop that's called a Lenovo ThinkPad, and it doesn't work with a software program called TechSmith Camtasia. I can't do my video editing. Okay, so I have to use Snagit to actually do this, which means I can't edit it. I'm just doing it. So you're getting what you're getting, and there's no editing. Okay, there is no editing in the video. So that's the way it is, because I have a bug, which is actually there's a ticket open on this, and I can't fix it. So we're just going to do it this way, right? Okay, we're going to do it this way. And I'm going to have fun. You're going to have fun watching, I hope. And you'll learn something out of this. And I'm learning. I've learned a lot over 33 years now. and the years before, because I actually was preparing it for my studies to do this. So this is more than 33 years, but actually having lived overseas for the majority of the past 33 years in different cultures and acculturated to it and worked in other different companies and all that, and having thought through and having to deal with conflict. So I got a couple of videos too that they're probably worth things to, yeah, videos and articles. So I got one called Working with the French that was published in Multilingual Magazine in 2004, and I'll make a video of that too. It's actually available, so the 4-page article, but some people don't want to read time to read a 4-page article, right? A 4-page practical business article, right? They don't have time. Hey, people are so into YouTube right now. So I'll make a video series about that one too, okay? That'll be a different. Yeah, I'm doing a little marketing of that, okay? Because I haven't done the video yet. But they get the article already written if you want to read the article before you wait for my videos on Working with the French, okay? So that already exists, the written article. So that one. Then there is another one I did in 2012, actually, which is up on my video YouTube channel. You're going to have to navigate down and find it. But just look up in the Prozzy 2012 was something called working fast-paced, multicultural something. I can't remember the exact name of it here because this software doesn't let me see on a different screen. The way I've got it, I'm on one screen here, so I can't bring up a computer monitor here and stuff in the restaurant. People are gonna like freak out. Okay, I'm a dinner here. I got my dinner here. I'm not gonna show you what's left of it. Okay, right? So this is it is what it is. I got a suspicion. I don't want to have her being seen. Okay, so I'm trying to be careful of that. People look at me saying, "What are you doing there?" And the thing with the thing, and you're talking to yourself. That kind of thing where you were, "Hey, we're making a video here." So what? I'm going to do this in iterative ways. I'm going to put out these videos. I've been doing a bunch of videos on YouTube anyways, so I'm going to do this. And I thought, now it's time to do this video series. So I'm going to do this like one at a time, and I'm publishing them, and you read one chapter at a time as we go along, and maybe it'll bring you to come and watch the YouTube channel and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm not going to say, come subscribe to my YouTube channel, the name. You're on the YouTube channel, so just subscribe to it, okay? That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give any publicity and marketing of my YouTube channel because you're at it. So just click on the subscribe of where you're at if you want to, okay? And each of these chapters will discuss one aspect of American culture in a series of things which have been fully analyzed. And I'll give as much as I can references to other things when there's something that I've actually read about it. But a lot of this is experience. And I've got a lot of, I've done a lot of research. I got graduate degrees in intercultural and linguistics, so I can't actually point to other articles, and I will when I do. Some of them are dated a long time, and there are probably plenty of them on the internet now. But I don't have to. I got a regular job to do too, so I'm not sitting doing another doctorate in research on intercultural stuff, which I could do, but I got other things to do, like put food on my table at home, right? So, and a house over my head. So I'm not trying to do another PhD. Okay, let's say it's the other way. I'm trying to share what is practical and what works and makes businesses work, or makes enterprises work, or make businesses, enterprises, governments, and what makes NGOs and nonprofit associations and all this stuff. These things are the things that cause conflict between different cultures when they work with Americans. Okay, so I'm going to deal with those things that cause that conflict. And I'm going to help discuss to help you as a non-American, okay, for you to understand how those Americans think, how they tick, 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 how it ticks inside. To understand how they work and function, to understand these weird things that just don't make sense, don't fit the European cultures or Asian cultures, the African cultures, the Caribbean cultures, or the South American cultures, or the Eurasia cultures, or whatever, okay, or the Canadians up north, okay, or the to all the folks down south, okay, on the other side of the southern hemisphere, okay. And I'm not going to talk about Anglo-Saxon culture because I think Americas are their own beast among the Anglo-Saxons. We get a lot of similarities, but we have very specific things that are very different. And I think that's very important to point out here. And so thanks for listening to this introduction because, you know, it's in a preface. And a preface is usually not one page. I mean, I know books that have prefaces of like several pages. I've actually, some of these books, Life and Renaissance, Friends of Lucian Forever, has more than 16 pages because I usually cite the 15th, the 14th, and 15th page. And actually, it's longer than that. So some of these books do have prefaces that are longer. So I'm making a preface to the book, okay? An introduction. That's the way it is. And if you're not a YouTuber, you're not a person that likes to watch YouTube more than 2 minutes, okay? Then that's your problem, okay? Because this is a book. This is not a video game, and this is not a teaser. This is not a movie trailer, okay? This is a book. So you gotta go through and watch it. But there's a little trick in this. You can actually put it to 1.5 or to 1.75, or you can adjust the speed to speed it up, so you can watch it faster. And it has little subtitles that can appear, okay, automatically. But you can watch it faster. But it's a book, and I'm gonna say it's a book, okay. So I'm gonna treat it as a book, and I'm gonna dig it in. As a book. And for those of you Americans that those of you that don't like to read books, which you need to read Isaac Asimov's statement about the American culture in the 1980s. He had a quote about the ignorant Americans who don't want to know things, okay? I'm not going to cite that. Just look up Isaac Asimov and his quotes about ignorance, okay? Okay, so yes, you need to treat this as a book, and I'm going to say that many times because it's a book, okay? It's not a trailer, it's not a teaser, and it's not a 5-minute pitch, okay? And each of these chapters are going to be a chapter in a book with maybe sections of the chapter in a book, okay? Got it? Everybody there? And if I only have, I don't care if I have 10 million people watching this. Well, I actually have a lot of videos on YouTube because I got 40,000 viewing hours on my YouTube channel over the past 12 years. So the people are watching it, okay? The question is, are the bright people watching it for this one? And if only 3 people watch this, it's fine. If only my 2 kids watch this video series, that's all that matters to me because I don't care about making money out of it, okay? I'm not going to try to make money out of it because I don't care. I care about sharing. And a lot of you need this information in this book to survive in your dealings of business. And when I say business, I'm not talking about making money. Sometimes it's government relations and sometimes it's, NGOs. For business relations, working with Americans it's a kind of a different experience, okay? So that's what the book is about. I hope that I've given you enough to inspire you and to scare you to death about what the next chapters are on because I'm going to have fun doing these chapters. And I hope that you're going to benefit from me having fun doing these chapters or something I've been waiting for years to share about. And yes, I'm doing these on my weekends, okay? Because I think it's time to do it. This whole Ukraine thing and Russian thing is making me think it's time to do this quickly because I got to do it quickly because we need to understand why Americans are not actually involved, okay? But so I let you discover that in the chapters of the book. So thank you for your time, and I'm going to get to doing the next chapters if they don't kick me out of the restaurant because it's already the end of the service, and it looks like they're going to kick me out. So yeah, this is where we're doing it. So, and let's get to the thing on authenticity and transparency. There's a chapter on that, and you're gonna like that one because I'm doing it here. I'm actually living it. Okay. So, and this is a fresh, hot topic. So, thanks for come to the introduction, and let's get to the next chapters of this book, which is currently called Understanding America and Americans. And maybe I'll find a better title for it, because I don't think that working with the Americans is a cool enough, catchy title. I mean, it is, but I think the understanding part is like we're really weird. So, yeah, let's do the book. Let's watch the book if you want to, because I think you want to watch the book, and let's see what it is. And yeah, I'm kind of just going around and kind of get you interested in this thing, okay? Because the book's got a lot of chapters going to make you think. This is going to be kind of deep, so get ready to kind of start thinking. You got to put the thinking cap on, because it's going to make you think a lot. It's made me think a lot. You know where all this gray hair came? I got a lot of gray hair all over the place because it's come through thinking about this book. No, it's actually come from working for my. No, it's come from the work. No, it actually no. I got a kid here. I'm gonna make it fun. I'm gonna make this fun. I want you to enjoy this, kind of like in a coffee hour. Kind of think of this in like coffee discussion, just going down and having a coffee break and talking about things in different cultures. Oh, there's weird Americans and stuff. This is what it's like. Okay, so let's do it that way. I think it'll catch on. If it doesn't, it's no big deal. If my kids watch it, that's great. So, and we'll do it. So let's go. Thank you for watching the introduction of the book.